What's going on, everyone? Today in this video, I wanted to talk about a few morning habits that I have implemented into my life since becoming a minimalist. Now, these are habits that anyone can implement into their own lives to see the benefits throughout the day or over a long period of time. Now, before I get started, a couple things. I've gotten more subscribers in the past couple of months than I have since making this account back in 2007. So thank you for that. And also, if you're new to this channel, thank you for stopping by. Here I talk about minimalism content, self-improvement, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to like and consider subscribing. Now let's get started. Now, this isn't so much as taking one or two of these things and they will magically change your day for the better. It's more so a combination of all of these things to create the most productivity and clarity. And as always, I'm speaking from my own experience and sharing that with you. Hopefully you can gain some value or your own insight through my experience. Now, the first thing on this list, I'm sure you saw coming, and that is just to wake up a little bit earlier every morning. Now, this kind of speaks for itself when it comes to optimizing time and just getting things done a little bit earlier. But in addition to that, it helps me just not feel as groggy as I normally would if I sleep in past like 11 o'clock, for example. Getting that extra hour or two in the morning really helps me just get in the zone and just get started on whatever I need to do that day. Not to mention that quiet time in the morning is probably just my favorite time of the entire day. Now, the second one on this list is much easier than making yourself wake up early, and that is just to have a full glass of water right when you wake up. I might need to be fact checked here, but I did read somewhere or hear somewhere that we all wake up naturally dehydrated in the morning, and that drinking a full glass of water right when you wake up is good for your skin and immune system, etc. I know there's a bunch of fitness and health gurus that always preach this. Not to mention, it helps me not overeat in the morning when I'm actually just thirsty. Very simple, but very effective. Now, the third thing on this list is to make your bed as soon as you get up. Again, another simple one, but just saving myself that extra step after I run to the kitchen or the bathroom and I come back in my room and my bed's already done. It'll save me from having to take that extra step of fixing it when I come back in here. And it's a lot less tempting to lay back in bed because it's already made and I don't want to ruin it. It's a small, easy first task in the morning that'll get you started on the right foot. Believe it or not, there are actually a ton of articles out there debating whether you should or shouldn't do this in the morning. It's actually funny how serious some people are breaking down the psychology of this. But like I said, in my experience, it works. Now, the next thing is to stretch. After I do those first couple things, I spend about 2 to 5 minutes just stretching before I do anything too physical in the morning. If you think about it, that's practically as stiff as our bodies are going to get is when we're sleeping. Doing this every morning helps me just limber up, and it helps me relieve any pain or tension I may have developed while I was sleeping. Now, the next thing on this list is to take a cold shower. I was wondering when I was actually going to mention this in a video for the first time, because it is something I would knock and hate on until I started trying it for myself. I know there's a ton of information out there, and it seems every YouTuber has done some type of challenge where they spent 30 days only taking cold showers, but in my experience, it has probably been the single best habit I've implemented into my everyday. And I don't know if it's the philosophy of just doing something very uncomfortable and difficult first thing in the morning, or just the feeling of being very energized after having really cold water hit you seconds after waking up. Whatever it is, it's helped me get ready to tackle the day with whatever I have going on that day. It's difficult at first, and once you get over that initial flinch, you might be glad you did. I think doing what is difficult rather than doing what is very comfortable first thing in the morning just helps my self-discipline and makes anything else throughout the day seem a little less terrible than that. I recommend everyone tries this for at least a week or so and see how it goes for them. Now, the next thing here is to physically write down 3 tasks to get done today. This is something else I knocked for being very pretentious before I started doing it myself. I started writing down about 3 or so things I wanted to get done that day while keeping it very realistic. Whether it was writing a YouTube video, paying some bills, or cleaning out my car. I mentioned in my video last week how writing things down for me at least, makes it feel a little bit more significant. So that's why I write down my goals for the day. And I try and keep them somewhat simple to make sure that they can be accomplished by the end of the day. And going back on my first point of waking up early, writing them down gives me more time to accomplish these short-term daily goals. Now, the next one on this list is to fast or have a low-carb breakfast. I just want to reiterate that I'm speaking from my own experience. Now, naturally, I wake up pretty starving. I can kill 3 bowls of cereal, no problem. But I found that when I do eat too much or have a lot of carbs in the morning, I just want to lay back in bed, and it doesn't matter if I have a cold shower and do everything else. I just want to lay back down, and I'm not really ready to get my day started. But now what I'll do is just have a few eggs or yogurt with my coffee in the morning with maybe a slice of toast. This will usually hold me over until around noon or so. Yeah, it might sound pretty silly, but I'd rather save that big first meal for a little bit later in the day. Now, the next habit on this list is to not look at the news or any apps for that matter, at least an hour after waking up. I think it's safe to say that most of us are a little tired of the news right now and can benefit a little bit just from keeping that out of our morning routine. I try not to look at my phone at all in the morning aside from turning off my alarm. I won't check my apps, texts, or emails for at least an hour after waking up. And as far as the news goes, sometimes ignorance is bliss. I say that lightly, but at least an hour in the morning, give yourself some time to wake up and be there mentally before you're ready to have everything that the world is ready to throw at you on your mind. You know, sometimes I'd rather just be in my own world for a little bit. You know, in the morning, I'd rather just be in my own world rather than see what everybody else is up to, at least first thing in the morning. Try this out for a few days, and I promise they will be the best few mornings you've had in a long time. And the last habit on this list is to try not listening to music or only instrumentals. So I've noticed that whatever I listen to in the morning kind of will set my tone or mood for the day. And maybe that's my own problem for letting things like music and apps and what I eat set my tone for the day. But if I can control it, I would much rather. So generally, I don't listen to anything and I don't have anything on during my morning routine. But if I do decide to play something while I'm cooking or taking a shower, it'll almost exclusively be instrumentals, like maybe some classical or lo-fi on Spotify, or nature sounds and soundscapes. If you have Spotify, or maybe Apple Music has it too, I really recommend just listening to nature sounds while you're working out or doing any of these habits in the morning. I wish I had discovered that much sooner, but it's a great way to just create some zen in the morning, which is probably needed for most of us. And of course, sometimes no music at all is just as good. I realize I've gotten much closer to the camera throughout this list, so I apologize. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got some value out of this. At the end of the day, there's really not one or two specific habits that are complete game changers. In my experience, it's all of these small habits combined that create a more productive and overall better morning. So try a few of these out and see how they affect your day-to-day. If you got value out of this video, be sure to like it and consider subscribing to the channel for more of this type of content. And I'll see you next time.